Okay, we live in the crib, vibing with Vito. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube, and also follow the page on Instagram and all other social platforms. Vibing with Vito. I got somebody in the hot seat with me, man, coming all the way from that West Coast.
I mean, yeah, technically, but I was in Miami. I've been in Miami for the past like 3 weeks, bro.
For sure, for sure. He's also on his path, his podcast path too as well. We're gonna get more in depth into that, but introduce yourself to the people, my friend.
Yes, what's going on, people? Brendan Boy, digital media entrepreneur. You know, basically what I do is I help entrepreneurs get more exposure by leveraging podcasts, and also teach podcast entrepreneurs how to monetize their podcast without brand deals, sponsorships, and having a large audience.
Dope, bro. And he's been also influential to myself too as well. He's sent some clients my way too as well, so I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna keep that going.
Yeah, facts. So let's talk about the journey. How did you embark on this whole journey, and how are you embracing it right now?
Podcasting?
Yeah, facts.
Yeah. So I mean, I've always enjoyed like networking and meeting people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's really the key to like life, honestly.
Facts.
You know, like I look at it like Mario. Remember Mario?
Yeah,
it's like
facts.
you can only do two things in Mario. You can either break bricks,
right,
or hit the question box.
Right.
Something always popped out.
Right.
It was an option.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you either got bigger, got a tail, got some wings.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
facts.
He was invincible or something. So there was always something there. So that's how I looked at like networking and meeting people.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was doing real estate, what I wanted to do is I wanted to figure out how I could continue to meet people. And I started just doing interviews at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing these interviews. It wasn't a podcast to me. I was just doing YouTube interviews. But I was interviewing people that were like entrepreneurs, business owners, founders. Because at that time of my life, I didn't know no millionaires.
Right.
You know, everybody I knew was just doing 9-to-5 corporate situation.
Right.
So I just kept doing interviews. And what I noticed was everybody was saying yes. No one said no. Everyone always was like, yeah, I want to come on. I want to talk. So then it just kind of dawned on me. I was like, okay. So let me ask some higher net worth people. Or let me see if I can get into some different rooms. You know what I'm saying? And same thing. People just kept saying, yeah. So at that point, it didn't really hit me yet. I was just doing it just so I can build these relationships. When I moved from Boston to L.A., my second year of doing real estate in L.A., because I was licensed in Massachusetts as well, I was just like, I couldn't foresee myself doing this like another 10 years, 20 years, of like showing people houses, right?
Right.
I was like, yo, I need to get money faster. So then I just started investing in myself, learning digital products, digital marketing, you know what I'm saying? Learning a high leverage, high ticket skill that I could monetize, but I was still doing interviews, you know what I'm saying? At this point, I had started a podcast. When my friends started, you know, actually it was like 2 or 3 of them, but they all around the same time, they was like, yo, there's something more to the podcast thing that I feel like you're not really tapping into. So when they all said that to me, I just kind of like went inside myself, you know what I mean? Like I spent like a week or two just kind of pondering the idea, like what they talking about? Like what more else could I do? And then it just hit me. So I was already selling like, you know, my own digital products, you know, coaching packages, you know what I'm saying, products and services and stuff like that. And I was just doing a podcast independent. But then I just merged them. You know what I'm saying? I merged the idea of leveraging the podcast as an asset and then using digital products and services along with the podcast to help people and solve problems.
Damn, that shit is dope.
Then like when you really look at the podcast is like the number one, in my opinion, the number one leverage tool for you to connect with anyone. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to kind of use the podcast and then use digital products and services to monetize, and I've been able to create other businesses out of it.
Wow, wow. So did they ever tell you like, hey, this is what we're talking about that you were missing, or you just took that upon yourself?
Nah,
to say, I think this is what it is.
I don't even think they knew.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? They
okay.
just see me like, it's kind of like, let's say you just got a talent or something, or you're like really good at something,
right?
But you just do it just because it's part of you, or you just like do
right.
But you never looked at it like, oh, I can monetize this too, or I can turn this into a career or something. So that's what it was. They just saw me like, you know, just naturally enjoying this thing,
right,
and like kind of doing this thing consistently,
right,
but not adding that element into what I was doing over here to make money, to monetize.
Right.
So basically, they just kind of like shine the light on it. So then I was just looking at it like, oh, okay, I think I know what I can do with this. And then you know, it just over time it just evolved.
Dang, that's crazy. That's dope. So to up and coming people that are starting podcasts, what are the 5 most important things that they should do before they get started?
That's a good question. I think number one, you gotta decide if it's something that you want to do, because podcasting, you know, it's kind of trendy right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's not trendy like I feel like it's gonna go away. It's trendy because like everyone's like, yo, I got a podcast. And again, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You have to decide if it's something that you really want to do because it's work.
Right.
It ain't just like I'm having a conversation.
Facts.
You gotta
Study the person.
You gotta study the person. Yeah. You gotta invite the guest on. You gotta edit it. Are you gonna edit?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta post it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta promote it.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot going along with it. So you gotta decide like.
Hey man, thank you guys for watching the content, watching all of the interviews. Make sure you like, subscribe, and also leave a comment, man. Vibing with Vito. Just take 1 second out your day and leave a comment, like, or subscribe. Let's get back to the interview.
Am I going to do this, or can I put a team together to do this? Is this something I'm going to take seriously? Is it a hobby, or if I'm not going to take it seriously? So you got to decide. Number one, am I going to commit to doing it? If that answer is yes, then I would say, you know, choose like 25 or 50. Like I'm gonna do 25 episodes. I'm gonna do 50 episodes. I don't care what happens. So you can get your reps in. I mean, that's probably a good amount of a sample size for you to determine if I want to keep.
If you want to keep on doing it.
So I would say do that. The second thing I would say is don't feel like you gotta get a lot of equipment. Decide if you want to do virtual or in person. You know what I'm saying? Because you could do a podcast from your phone with software.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't necessarily need, like, we got mics in here. You know what I'm saying? You got a piece of equipment right there.
Right.
You got lights, you know what I'm saying? So like we in the studio, you don't need all of that per se, right? But you got to decide, do I want a show that's in person or do I want to do virtual? Virtual is probably the easiest thing because like I said, software in your phone, you're pretty much good to go.
Right.
So I would decide if I want to do virtual. The third thing I would do is I would also determine what's my goal. Do you want to monetize the podcast? Are you happy with having conversations? Because that's important. That's going to also give you an idea of, you know, what's going to motivate me. Like, what am I doing this for? Right. And I think once you have that, it's easier for you to keep going. But then you also have a measuring stick of what success is.
Yeah.
Because my podcast don't have a lot of views. But that's not my measure for success. My measure for success is the relationships I'm able to build and who I'm able to connect with, but then how I can monetize it. Like I build businesses from my podcast, but it's not based on views. The money I make in podcasts is not based on my views.
Damn.
And I'm happy with that because I know what my barometer for success is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The fourth thing I would do is I would build a community around the podcast, which is probably one of the easiest way to monetize. Right. And what I mean by that is I would use this example of like, and you know, imagine we're taking a flight. What's your favorite place you want to go, or what's the next place you want to visit?
Barcelona. Or something.
Boom, we going to Barcelona, right? So when we on that flight, there's normally 2 tickets, right? There's economy and there's first class, right? So in economy, it's mad seats, probably over 100 seats, and you got the third row, right? First class is only about 14, maybe 20 seats, right? Economy, you got babies crying. It's gonna take a minute for the flight attendant to get to you, right? You got that annoying middle seat if you sitting in the middle. You got to wait for the bathroom. It's not the most comfortable, but it's the easiest way. It's like what most people do, right?
Right.
So that's like just turning on the podcast, Spotify, YouTube. Anyone can do that.
Right.
Then you got your first class. The first class it costs more, right? But the networking is there. You're probably gonna meet the captain, right? You might get headphones, pillow, blanket. Flight attendants are nice. You can get on the plane first. You can get off the plane first, right? That's the community. So there's a percentage of your listeners and your viewers that will pay for access, right? So even if you got 50 views on a podcast, but it's a consistent 50 views, let's say 10% of that is 5 people. There's probably 5 people that would like to tap in with a little more what you got going on.
Right.
So let's use your podcast for example. There's probably a small percentage of people that want to actually vibe with Vito.
Right.
What does that mean, right? So that could be, you know, maybe it's a weekly Zoom. Maybe you record, you know, a 3 to 5 minute, Q&A that you don't include in the podcast, right? Maybe put some behind the scenes in there. Maybe you let your community like pull questions of like upcoming guests so they can get their questions asked on there.
Right.
Maybe you have a Vibe with Vito live quarterly in person you can invite people to. Right. Maybe you actually do go to Barcelona. If you're in the community, you get access to come out, fly with you out to Barcelona. It could be whatever you want.
Right.
But now at that point, you got the community. You charge $99 a month, 20 people. Now your podcast is making 2 bands a month. Now your podcast is making 24,000.
Wow.
Right? And that's off of 20 people.
Right.
Not 1,000 followers, right? Not 10,000 subs right? Not 1,500 views or 1,500 downloads. We're talking about 20 people that actually want to rock with you. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
And now your podcast is making 5 figures, right? So you double that. You got 40. Now you almost got a $50,000 podcast, right? And there's other elements you can add into it, but that's not based on views. It's based on your core audience of people that actually want to go a little bit deeper with you. And when the next time you go on a flight, you'll always notice that first class is always full because there's always people that are willing to pay for access. They're willing to pay for, a premium experience. And the other people that are in that space are like-minded people. So if I pay the $99, I'm gonna get with Nico. She gonna pay the $99. There's a reason why we're both in this group, and why other people ain't. So I'm gonna be more inclined to want to. Oh, what you got going on? Oh yeah, let me support that. This is what I got going on. Okay, she wants to support that, right? And that's how you level up. So building a community around your podcast is what I feel like every podcast host or entrepreneur should have. The fifth thing I would do is I would combine. I mean, there's so many things we could talk about.
No,
but the fifth thing I would do is I would definitely use your digital real estate. So what podcasts is kind of like, I feel like drop the ball. They don't value that every single piece of content episode you create is digital real estate, and it's evergreen. So the podcast we're doing right now, it will be downloaded, it will be viewed, it will be listened to, essentially forever.
Right.
So if it's 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you have probably 3 areas in there potentially that you could put an ad in there, that you can promote your own products and services, that you could potentially charge the guests to promote their products and services, and that's easy money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got the intro ad space, mid-roll, and you probably got an end-roll ad space. So if you got your own products and service, your podcast episodes can promote those. If your guests have products and services, then you can monetize those different spaces, right? And even in future episodes, that they can say, hey, yeah, man, I'm willing to pay you an extra $250 and put, my product in front of your audience. Because it's going to always be there. You know what I'm saying? So those are 5 things I would do probably really quick if I was thinking about doing this for real. Yeah. Because you don't need a big audience to make money. You don't need to worry about, I need 1,000 subs on YouTube, right? Right. Because once you get the 1,000 subs and the watch time, you still got to pass $100 before YouTube's even going to give you the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to pass that threshold before they release the funds.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
So you can have a good amount of views on a show, but if the watch time ain't there and you're not making enough money, you're not even going to get the money.
Dang.
Right? So that ain't the way to launch it. Merch is cool, but if your podcast brand ain't strong, nobody wants your podcast merch, bro. Right. Let's keep it a buck. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I rock with you. So if you had some Vibe with Vito merch, I might buy it off the strength. But if your brand's not connected to anything that I can relate to, you're not really going to sell merch like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So those are things that people just think, yeah, I need brand deals, merch, and YouTube. Well, you can't get a brand deal if you ain't got no audience. If you're not somebody to make content that can draw attention, no brands are gonna give you a deal. But there is a cheat code how you could get a brand deal.
Damn.
And you just start in your city. So we're in Atlanta right now. So do an audit. Where the places you bank, eat at, go to the gym at. Is it a dessert spot, nail salon, barbershop? You know what I'm saying? Audit the places that you normally do business. Generally, 90% of those businesses don't market. So if you go to them and say, hey, listen, I got a podcast, what we could do is we can get your business, in front of the ears and the eyes of my audience, and I'm going to charge you, let's say $500 for 4 episodes. You know what I'm saying? Now you can go to these businesses and get money and get sponsors, right? Because you're auditing the places where you currently already do business. Right. They're going to want to patronize you. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And that's how you can get local sponsorships and local brand deals without having to worry about, oh, I need this big soft drink, or, I need to get, Fashion Nova or whatever. Because that's what people think about when they think about brand deals. Right. They're not thinking about what's right here in front of their eyes.
Damn, that's crazy. That is impactful. Let me ask you this, man. Why do you think a lot of people that start podcasts, they just fall to the wayside? Like, why do you feel like sometimes they start and then they just stop?
Yeah, because they don't have a realistic expectation of what success is. They just think, I'm gonna just do a podcast and things are gonna happen. Ain't nothing happen like that, bro. Life ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? So like they don't realize that it's work. Right. It's work. Right. Like, you got a manager, right? So y'all come together, y'all doing things together, right? You're not necessarily doing every single aspect. But if you are someone that's starting a show and you have to research the guests, reach out to them, follow up on a reach out, then book them, then schedule them, get a studio or bring your equipment, right? Then you're going to have to transfer the files, get the files edited. If you ain't going to do it, most people do it themselves. That editing takes double, sometimes 3 times longer than recording a podcast.
Facts.
Right? Then you're probably going to be like, man, I don't even want to do this part. So now the episode is lingering.
Yeah, facts.
Now you got to do the whole thing over because you got to get the next guest. Right? And then you got to post it and promote it. That's a lot of work for someone that's just starting out trying to see if this is something that they want to do. Yeah. So I'm not surprised when they say like, I think it's like 70%, 80% of podcasters die out after like between episode 7 and 15.
That's crazy, bro. I'm almost on episode 100.
Yeah. So you solidified, bro. Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about your tour, man.
Yeah.
You going on tour this summer coming up?
Yeah. So I'm going on tour this summer. It's called the Audience Growth Tour. Basically, what we're doing is we're showing entrepreneurs how to build audiences and the importance of getting attention and getting exposure for their products and services.
Thanks.
So the tour is 2 days. Half of it is really based on just like the educational piece, so like a mini workshop type of thing with Q&A, and I'll bring people that I have relationships with in the different cities, and then the other one is just like a live podcast. So let's say I bring you on, we have a live podcast and there's an audience.
Dope.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah. So we're hitting Miami, Atlanta, DC, Boston, Providence, Toronto, LA, Vegas, Dallas, Austin, and Houston. Yeah.
Clap it up for that. Dang, congrats, bro. Real talk. So how this is your second tour, right? You went on kind of like a brief tour.
This is like my first tour technically. I feel like my life is like a tour.
Yeah,
like
you always gone. Like, so I was like, because I watch you too. Like, I'm on your page and stuff like that too as well. So I'm like, I'm always seeing you traveling in your different places.
Yeah.
And you're on different podcasts yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, is he on tour already right now? Like,
nah. I mean, I feel like, one thing about podcasting is like, if you decide that you want to make this a business, or if you want to, use this as a form of marketing to maybe grow other aspects of your business, you can take it on the road. Like my podcast is mobile. So I just take it. You know what I'm saying? I got my equipment, I just roll with it. So that's what I'm saying. Podcasting is great because it don't have to be a certain way. You don't need certain mics.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I'm saying? You don't need a certain setup.
Facts.
You don't have to be in the studio.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You don't need heavy equipment.
Facts.
So there's a lot of different ways for you to, capture the content and then roll. And I like traveling. Since I don't have nothing really tying me down, it's like perfect time for me to travel, build a relationship, go on shows, host my own shows, and then just go from there.
Facts. Dang, that's crazy. That tour is gonna be crazy, man. Make sure you let us know when you come to Atlanta too as well.
Yeah.
I want to be in the building, bro.
100%.
On both days.
Yeah,
like, all right, shit, I'm here, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And like you said one thing, like building a network, you know what I'm saying? Building a community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I feel like all podcasters should build a community too as well. Like, cause it's like how me and you, we just out of nowhere met each other, and then it's like, I bet we started working, and now we're building like an alliance. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And I feel like that's like very pivotal, like in this business that we're doing.
I feel like with podcasting is definitely a great way for you to build reciprocity with people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because before we met, like we already did, we did business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like, that's something that people can do. Like anyone that you want to get with, anyone that you feel like is interesting, it's a great way for you to build that relationship. And it's way better than be like, yo, bro, can I pick your brain? Or, can I call you? Like,
facts.
Like if you're like, yo, listen, I love what you got going on. I got a show. It's virtual or it's in person, whatever the case is. I would love to have you come on and have you tell your story. 95% of people are going to say yes to that. Now, Now, the 5% may be like, you might need to invest, you know what I'm saying, depending on the level of the person's value.
Right.
But if you know what you're going to do with the content, that money coming back. You know what I'm saying? Because if I spend $5K or $10K to get a guest on, and I got products and services, I'll be able to monetize that. But the amount of attention and exposure that episode may bring me, or most likely will bring me,
it's going to go to your products and services.
100%. But then also, somebody that rocks with that guest, they're probably going to rock with you now because they're going to see you at a different level.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
So what are some good products and services in terms of that you feel like podcasters should sell? Like I know you said ebook and different things like
so
that.
I think first you gotta like analyze
What you do.
what you got going on, right? And I feel like think about what solutions you can provide, right? So right now you're in the podcast space. You could probably help other podcasters with issues that they got going on. Let's say if you didn't have a product like that. Somebody's like, man, I could probably create, a mini course, ebook, a mentorship, and I can help other podcasters get to where they got going on. Like that's a level. In my personal experience, what I noticed was one, I had this issue with my own exposure. I'm not able at that time to get the exposure or eyes that I'm looking for on my business. So I'm like, well, if I go on podcasts, I'll be able to do that. So I created an agency that helps entrepreneurs do that. So this agency is a vertical that came from being in the podcast space that now allows other business owners who want to get in front of more people, get the message out there, right? We facilitate that. The other thing I noticed, like this is not connected. This was maybe like 2 years later. New business started about 6 months ago. What do they do with the content?
Right.
So now what happens is like, let's say you're going on pods, you're creating content.
Right.
You might drop it once, but you ain't doing nothing with it. Right. Or if you're somebody that's a podcaster or you want long form or short form content, but it's not edited, what you gonna do? So we created another business. This one's called Podshop, and we edit short form, long form. We do content redistribution, and we also do podcast editing because it's a need, right? So you could just look at the space that you're in. What are different ways that I can help people while I'm in this space, and just build a vertical off of that.
Right.
So you're not going over here and doing something or going over here and doing something. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you're in this lane because podcasting is so vast. There's a lot of different ways for you to monetize. You just gotta pay attention to what's going on.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. That's
You know what I'm saying? Like your podcast, what if you build a studio?
Facts.
Where other people got to come in and record?
Yeah, facts.
Right? So it's like you think about what are the different elements that, I might need. If I need them, most likely other people in the space need them. I might be able to monetize that and just build off that vertical. Yeah.
Okay. That's dope. So are you still doing real estate too as well?
Hell nah, bro.
Okay, so you completely...
No, I don't do residential real estate. Real estate investing, I'm always looking for opportunities, but residential real estate, nah.
Okay.
To me, it take too long.
Yeah.
And you don't get paid fast enough.
Yeah, facts. So podcast full time.
Well, I mean, I consider myself like a digital media entrepreneur. So I leverage the media.
Okay.
Yeah. So I happen to have a podcast, but I focus on pod agency, which helps entrepreneurs get on shows. So that's one business. And then Podshop is a brand new business, and that's the editing. So Podshop is like, every single month it's just like,
yeah,
it's recurring revenue. Recurring revenue. And then
everybody need a podcast.
Everyone needs edits, or they need a podcast edits, or they need vertical videos or long form videos, or in some cases they need content redistributed across like YouTube or social media platforms.
Damn.
Right. Damn. So those are the businesses I focus on. I'm building my teams to work on that. And then with the podcast, it's just like leveraging, bro.
Facts.
I can sit down with amazing people like yourself.
Facts.
Nico.
Facts.
Travel. Like, I'm going to Tulum at the end of the month to interview
Lit.
Entrepreneur. She live out there. Okay,
Lit.
cool. I'm out there. Now I'm out there.
That's dope.
I'm out there. What am I do? I'm gonna work.
Yeah, facts.
Now I'm in Mexico working.
Yeah, facts.
Camera, listen, podcaster, look, you can do this too. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right.
Boom. If you're interested, tap in, link below.
Damn.
So it's like, where do you want to go, bro? Like, I want to go to Colombia, Brazil, Egypt. You know what I'm saying?
I've been to Egypt before.
Yeah, I want to go to all these different places, Japan, and it's like I'm able to do that because I don't have to, do real estate. Like, I don't have to be in
the job,
Los Angeles or
yeah.
Massachusetts.
Facts.
Show someone property.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And I think the internet also kind of like sped that up because like people buy virtually now. You know what I'm saying? But it's too slow for me, bro. I want to get paid every day. You can't get paid every day doing residential real estate.
That shit crazy.
Unless you add in like the digital side.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, man. We on Vibing with Vito. Explain your vibe. Tell the people your vibe.
It's a good question, bro. I don't know which way we want to take it. I feel like my vibe is very calm, bro. I'm calm. I'm intentional. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I got a vibe where I definitely want to add value.
Facts.
But I also realize because we live in America, people don't always appreciate the value that you're gonna add. I feel like they take it for granted.
Right.
But I think it's an American thing.
Facts.
I think social media kind of like expedited that that arrogance in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like there's another word I'm looking for, but I can't think of it right now. But I think if we was in any other city, you'd appreciate it.
Right.
You'd be like, okay, word, this is like I had a Canadian friend I was talking to the other day. She was just like, I like coming to America, but like y'all is just different. Like, she's like, I'm out there, everyone in Canada, like, you know, we're helpful, open the door for each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, pardon me, what do you need? Okay, cool. In America, it's just like you get the door slammed in your face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People all for self. Ain't really no collaboration. I mean, there's certain cities and certain environments you're going to get that. But it's different. So I think mine's is like very intentional, you know, calm. I want to add value to the space. And I want to help as many people as possible.
That's dope. That's dope, man. Hey, I appreciate you for coming to Vibe with Vito. Before we get up out of here, this is one question I've been asking everybody.
Yeah.
How important is the word I am to you?
Bro, you know what's crazy about that? I'm gonna tell you what's crazy about that. I am is the name of one of my companies, and it's
wow,
because it's Imperfect Action Media.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? I am, and then the logo's a crown. I can show you.
Damn, that's crazy.
It's like, so yeah, the importance of that to me means a lot. You know what I'm saying? And it's also like a connection with Basquiat, because what I know is Basquiat always had the crown, right? So. I had one of my artists create the Imperfect Action Media into a crown. So it to me it means a lot, because I feel like I am is powerful, because it's like you're putting out affirmation. You're saying I am this, I am not. You know what I'm saying? I can make this happen, and then you do it, because words is powerful.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? So it kind of it has a double meaning to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's, you know, it's again being intentional, affirming things. But then at the same time, it's like, you know, those are the initials to my company.
Dope.
You know what I'm saying? So,
dope.
Yeah.
That's hard, man. Tell the people where they can find you, big dog.
Yeah, 100%, man. Well, listen, I want to give away some value to y'all real quick. I got a free podcast program if y'all want to tap in, teaching you how to monetize your podcast with one particular skill here. Just go to 100kpodcastprogram.com, 100kpodcastprogram.com. And then also, if you want to tap into my weekly free workshop, let's go over to, my fault. It's, I'm trying to remember the keyword. Oh, yeah, my podcast. Text podcast to 213-410-4920, 213-410-4920. Text the word podcast. You'll be able to tap into our free workshop.
Lit, man. Hey, again, it's a pleasure having you coming to Vibe with Vito, man. It's been another episode of Vibing with Vito. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on the YouTube. And we gone.
Let's get it.